Welcome back. Here's where you left off. Spoilers ahead for chapters 28 through 41 of The Shackleton Signal by Joshua Calvert. So it seems, Leonard, that I was right. And it also seems that based on our last conversation, you got to give the author some applause here, buddy. Okay, there we go. It's as good as we're going to get,
he's going to get so far for now.
That's as good as we're going to get.
That's the goodest you can get. Because I have issues.
So it seems, I think you're probably more disappointed than anything else. So as we learn, it's an American satellite, which apparently is armed, I assume with a nuke or something. We don't actually know exactly what it is. Lewis is dead, and the Chinese are running away to get to the elevator. I mean, and you know, honestly, when it came down to Rebecca here, in a way, it was the part that disappointed me the most, because the question is still sort of out there. Is the general on her side or is he against her? I had lots of questions coming out of these chapters. What do you think, buddy?
I have some questions. I think we should tackle something that's actually a lot easier to tackle right now, where we are right now in the book. Let's talk about the place in the book that after they went inside the crater. When the Americans saw it's an American flag, and the first thing they did is, crap, let's cover this up so the Chinese will not see it. I'm like, when I read that, I'm like, you must be joking me. You know where you are right now. There's only 4 people here. Go ahead and cover it. Next thing you know, all 4 of them looked at the flag, and next I love how it's written. It's like the tall, lanky one lift up something and took a photo with a flash, and next thing they start running away. I'm like, would I do the same thing? I
believe you would. I believe you would take the picture and run.
I was like, screw
it's
you.
Exactly what you
did
would do.
This. You made this. I'm out of here. Got time in the world.
Well, I tend to agree with you. What are you gonna do? Just kick up some moon dust and cover the American flag? Like, they're not gonna like take a little brush and brush it off because it's supposed to be an alien device. You think the Chinese aren't gonna be like, let's investigate this further? Oh, look, there's the thing. It looks nice. Let's go home. Like, no, it's not gonna be.
What are you gonna stop? They're going to go run in front of the flag. It's like, pause. Don't move when I cover this. Look away. So they start running towards the elevator. So they try to stop them and all that stuff. And in my opinion, after reading this, is like, right now how it stands, it's all the American. This is all Americans' fault. America started all this. This is the Americans' fault. The Chinese are just saying, you just officially got caught with your pants down, Epstein style. So they took a photo and ran.
That click moment was the moment you're like, oh crap.
Exactly. So I have no problems them doing that. I have no problem. At the end of the day, the Americans tried to stop them, so they grabbed a hammer and did self-defense. No issues with that whatsoever. Zero issues. The biggest issue I have this whole thing is this mentality of like, it's so frustrating because every time there's so many cringe-worthy part of this book that I'm like, when I read it, I just literally drop the book. I'm like, I can't do this. This is the most dumbest thing I've ever seen and never ever read. It's so contradict each other. The way the dialogue was been written is very contradict each other. It's like, one is like, we're America, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, we got to do this. I think I said this already in the last episode. Like, oh my God, we got to do this for the humanity, but blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's back and forth. It's so tiresome that it's just very annoying. So for this happening in the book, that the Americans are actually at fault, and the Chinese is just like going to expose to them, and they did the right thing, self-defense. They used self-defense to protect themselves. No issues. Good for them. Yay. That's what I'm kind of annoyed about, and I have no problems with that. I really have no issues where we are right now with regarding the creator. Right? Do you agree? Like, I'm ranting now, so I want your 2 cents in this one, Derek.
I didn't have the exact same reaction that you're having. I would say that I was unimpressed with it in that way. The odd thing that sort of he gave an explanation about this when they were putting the elevator together, and they were so he keeps on kind of trying to accuse the Chinese of messing things up and so forth. But in the end, they're the ones that have the solution. So they go apparently take a look at their elevator and be like, look, the cables that you brought are broken. Like like we talked about the fuel. I'm like, that seems unlikely, So then they have to partner together to get down.
It's possible.
He gives a possible explanation. Okay, I'll live with it. The thing that really got to me about this was that, what are you guys gonna do now that the moment he takes the click of the picture and he runs off, like, what's your plan, Lewis? What's gonna go on here? Like, you're running after the guy. You're on the freaking moon here, right?
They're gonna tickle them to
death. You're just gonna grab the camera and whatever.
Theoretically, they're
it's
outnumbered.
More
they're outnumbered right
to
now.
me, to me, it's like, okay, have the person up at the top shut down the elevator so we can have a talk because they're all running out of oxygen. You know what I mean? So,
well, that's what he did, though. Lewis, he did exactly what he did. What's his name? Carl? Oh, I can't remember now. He did
Charles.
Yeah, Charles did exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Like, he already said that this mission is not about the America. It's not about the Chinese. It's about the world. And the perception of, like, this could be an alien thing. This is not a one country issue. This is the world issue. For him going back and say, hey, I need you to broadcast this in all the speakers. I want people to see exactly what's actually happening. This is not an alien thing. This is not a Chinese thing. This is an American thing. We did this. So what he did, he literally broadcast this in NASA, and I give him 2 thumbs on that the way he did it, right?
I think he did it because he's like, if I don't, they're gonna find a reason to kill me or something to keep the secret. But as we none of any of that had any real big value to me. In fact, the whole being on the moon thing has been less entertaining than the Rebecca thing because it's more like a bad spy novel where she's trying to figure out who's on her side and who isn't. And as we were going through the chapters, the boss is like, hey, she gets arrested. There's the gunfight. She gets arrested, talks to the local cop. Cop lets her call the general. General says, I'm going to send a special plane for you. We're going to get you out of there. So she's going with them. And I'm like, is the general in on this? Because somebody's in on this. Somebody knows what that is. Some person's pulling a string trying to cover their butt. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, what was their plan once these guys got there? Like, obviously they wanted to get them there first. Okay, before the Chinese. Okay, I get it. But it's a huge damn rocket with assumably a bomb or a nuke or something on it. What's your plan? Like, you're going to get the guys to disassemble it and carry it back, launch it back up into orbit. I don't know. Like, this is the plot hole that I'm thinking. Now, usually, to me, when I'm thinking about the plot here, I'm thinking about them. I was thinking about the accident that killed the other guys, but don't make it about this shoot to go to the moon. Make it about this secret thing to get to the moon without the rest of the world knowing, because that's really what you want, right? In a way, so they saw the crash land in the crater, so they didn't really have a choice. But I don't know. I think he's trying to mix. As we're getting to the end of the book here, we're going to begin the last few chapters. Getting to the end of the book, you're trying to mix sort of a spy novel with a space, and it feels like 2 different books. And we're at the end, so you don't have a lot of time to wrap things up. I mean, either Rebecca's getting betrayed by the general or she isn't. There's not a lot of room left over. Lewis is dead, so now there's an incident on the moon. Like, how are you going to wrap that up all in 8 chapters or whatever it is? You know what I mean? Like, those are my questions outstanding here.
Well, I definitely agree where you stand regarding those questions, because some of the questions that you had is some of my questions. But there's one thing that I actually disagree with you is the moon mission. Like, from right now, even for the last, I think, before 40, chapter 40, we had an understanding that they're going to the moon. There's a potential alien thing because that's what we're hoping for because it's a signal from space. So we presume it's an alien thing. We knew going into it, it's an alien thing as possible. It could be just a piece of cellophane came out and landed in the thing that's plausible. It's about too, right? And at that point, we were looking at it as an alien thing. When during the investigation itself, going into that same area around chapter 40, we're presuming that the Shackleton Signal person who discovered it been hidden away in the notion of being protected just in case this is a hoax or it's an issue. So you're protecting the person from the media. Going into that notion, it makes a lot of sense right now. But when they start uncovering that this could be a hoax, this could be led to a cover up, because that's when it starts showing up. It is being covered by a general, but her boss is kind of like, is he into this conspiracy and all that stuff. So there's a lot of I don't want to say misleading storyline. If it is, that's fine. I have no problem with it. That's the point of this, right? Because it's a mystery. You need to be led somewhere that you didn't expect, right? But when you mentioned that the space thing is getting sort of becomes a secondary storyline, and I agree with you in this case, but at the point where we reach for end of 42, it's sort of tying back into the investigation on Earth. Right, so that's where I remember. I tell you 2 chapters ago, or 1 chapter, last episode or 2 episodes ago, that somehow needs to be linked together. If it doesn't get linked, this is just a waste of our time. It is, in this point, it is being linked back. This is the beginning of the link back to Earth. The 2 storyline being linked together, right? But the way the moon mission is sort of wrapping up and the investigation sort of starting, like in the apex of this investigation, is sort of like, okay, so they said that the moon is a hoax. It's an American spy something or weapon something that caused this thing, now caused this international possible international incident, and the Americans are covering it up. But at the same time, they're starting killing their own people because they want to make sure that the people who found out about this needs to be eliminated. There's a big conspiracy about this weapons thing that no one talks about, and there's this disconnect between SpaceX not knowing anything that they carry. That was the weird thing too, by the way, that SpaceX has no clue what's in the package. The only thing they know is the weight. That's BS. And those kind of things. It's there's a lot of, like, as you said, there's holes, right? And some of the holes are being patched now, but at the same time, it makes you think that I can't believe I'm still reading this, right?
Okay, that was a good rant. That was a
Thank
good
you.
rant.
I saw my timing. I was like, I've been like talking for like 3 minutes straight.
I was like, let it get it out of your system. Let it get it out of your system. So let's go back to Rebecca for a moment. And as you say, it in our minds, it gets tied in when we learn it's a U.S. satellite. So when they go down there and they find it, and I'm actually sitting there reading, waiting for the reveal. The reveal comes and I go, okay, Rebecca's connected. Everything's connected. The general is probably trying to cover his butt, or maybe he is truly trying to find out what's going on. But at this point, does it really matter? Because even how Rebecca was involved in the beginning, I actually remember as we were reading through this, I had messaged you and said, so what is Rebecca actually investigating? Because at times it seems like it switches back and forth and you're not entirely sure. And I look at the character and I go, she's probably the most active character in the book. Even more so than the astronauts. What have the astronauts done? They've sat on the pad and shot off to the moon, and they're on the moon. Okay.
They took a shower. Very simplistic. They took a shower and ate. That's what they did.
True. It's a very simplistic timeline for them, right? In doing that. But she's flying everywhere. She's in gunfights. it's sort of the more exciting part of the book, right? And I guess Charles is supposed to be the main character in the book, but I don't find that he's being portrayed that much within the book. That might be unfair because they keep on splitting between Rebecca and him. Like, it feels like every other chapter I'm reading Rebecca, then Charles, Rebecca, Charles, going back and forth. I wish there was a little bit more connection between Rebecca and Charles to have it connected a little bit more. And I feel like that's where it's missing. I know that sounds like a much more final book review comment than anything else, but just at this point in the book, my questions are, where are we leading to here? And I don't necessarily, I think we're moving towards the spy novel side of it versus the space side of it. Does that make sense to you?
It just makes sense. I agree with you. It's the mystery with Rebecca was a lot more exciting. I think we both agree the investigation on Earth is a lot more fun to read compared to exactly what's happening on the moon. The moon itself, it's great. It's a great, hey, look at what they're doing here. It's nice, but at the end of the day, I prefer Rebecca's storyline. You know, it's like, okay, the question I have for you is this, though. I think this is the best way to sort this out. The question I have for you is, like, me, without telling you the title of this book or the premise of this book, which do you think is the main storyline?
I'm thinking Rebecca. As funny as that is to say, I'm thinking Rebecca. Barring me going through the book and saying, this is a Rebecca chapter, this is a Charles chapter, barring me doing that, the sense of it is that it's more of a Rebecca book than anything else. Do you think that's a good statement?
Oh, it's 100%. It's a great statement because I agree with you because it's a Rebecca storyline. When they killed her adjutant, I was like, crap. I was more disappointed that he got killed because he was actually pretty
You're
good
more
character.
invested in her timeline than Charles.
Yeah.
Like, Charles, okay, hey buddy, you're on the moon. Good luck, buddy. Go find the thing.
Yeah, good luck.
It's like, you're like, good luck.
Keep jumping. You'll be fine.
The Chinese don't fall off the edge of the crater and fall 3,000 feet or whatever.
Don't open your helmet. Don't open your helmet by accident. Who cares?
Don't worry about the Chinese. Like they probably don't know English, or they're like, oh, and the other thing is, like, we don't know their radio frequencies. Like, aren't there international? And I meant to look into this before. Like, isn't there international emergency radio frequencies or something like that they use?
Well, there is. But
isn't there that with the ISS?
There's
like,
a VHF. There's a VHF radio.
Yeah. Anyway, my question is, I actually don't know the answer to this question. Is if an astronaut can change frequencies? I actually don't know the answer to that question.
That's actually, to be honest with you, in my opinion, because I'm trying to remember. This is based on just the movie alone. You can change the frequency. Because they don't know if there's interference or not. For them to say, oh no, it has to be done by NASA. Here's the BS in this whole thing. Let's just say you're in space, Derek, and there's an interference. I'm the one on Earth going to change that frequency and send it to you. And I can't even send it to you because the frequency is already being interfered. How can I send that signal to you? Think about that. For them to use it as a cop-out, it's such a big cop-out. It's like,
I think, I'm going to be fair now. I'm going to be fair here. I think the argument was that the radio tuning within their suits is to a specific frequency, which does make sense. Okay. But for them in this day and age not to be able to change it or something like that seems rather odd to me. I don't know technically if that's a realistic point that they can make, because multi-band transmitters are not a big thing, being able to pick up other frequencies or whatever. So this whole lack of communication, like, somebody at NASA would have thought, maybe they might encounter the Chinese. Maybe we might need to talk to them. Like, it's just like somebody at NASA would have thought of that, It's like, so the writing is more of a dramatic miscommunication to allow the writer to do it. I get that. But from a technical perspective, I question it very heavily.
I do too. It's I have issues with that. I really do. And they did say a couple of things too. Can we write something and give it to them? Yeah, you can. A piece of paper can be on space. You can give it to them. It's like, this is our frequency. Here it is. You know? And there was a lot to be honest, and the biggest issue I had as well too is as you said, it's the communication part. The communication between two space agency can be solved pretty easily by just calling them.
It's like, hey guys,
hello.
Your guys took a picture of something we don't want. Can we get the camera? Just tell your guys to give it back or something. Also, here's the thing. It's like, so it's not as if the Chinese don't know, because they're in communication with their home base in China. So it's not like they don't know. Like, the only evidence we have is this little picture we take. And Lewis is like, get him. Like,
I'll put it this way. If the Martians can contact the Chinese by phone, they can do the same thing for this book. That's all I can say.
I mean, I'm beating up really hard technically here, but as you and I have had a conversation recently about this, accuracy and authenticity in books and so forth or technical stuff is something that I personally look at. Now, I want to ask you about what you think is going to happen for the last few chapters here, because it's a big question in my mind, and I'm curious where you're at with it.
Man, okay. It's kind of funny because I just finished reading the book this last night. And after I finished reading it, at the end of chapter 42, I actually asked that same question to myself. I was like, how is this book going to end? Because theoretically we have two more chapters before the end of the book, then we have a final review. That question for me is very, very simple. The way the book is going, the direction of this book, two things, because there's two storylines here. Let's start with the moon. When Charles announced that this is an American thing, this is our fault, this is our ship, we did this, we started this, all this started because of us. Because of them, because of the Americans. And for him doing that in the middle of NASA, surrounded by Space Force, aka the Federation, Starfleet, it's going to cause a lot of havoc for him and the crew, because he already said at the beginning that this mission is not an American. This is an international thing. He was against bringing weapons. He was against keeping themselves. He was very pro. Let's talk to them and let's work together to get this sorted out, because this is an international issue, not a nation issue, right? So I have a feeling that he's going to be he's going to get yelled at. There's a good chance that something's going to happen to him at the next few for the next chapter. Regarding Rebecca, right now where we left, that she is in a Chinook flying to Virginia. I think, yeah, Virginia, somewhere there. They're flying, and I have a feeling that she said, because you mentioned several times that you're not sure if her boss is actually tried to cover this up, right? I got a feeling that her being flown somewhere, there's going to be an issue with that, because we didn't know when she was being interviewed by the cops that she's a marksman. Right, and that's why she can handle her weapons. That's cool and all, but that's what it is. But I have this feeling at the end of the day, this is going to be a very, to be honest with you, I want something bad to happen for both of them, because that will make the storyline a lot better and a lot more interesting.
Well, something happy bad for Charles right now, because Lewis just died, and so he's doing. But with Rebecca, I think I agree with you that I think there's two possibilities. One, well, it really depends on her boss. He's either sending her to put her away somewhere so she could be quiet, or he's actually sending her to find out what's going on. And I would like it to be, I assume it's her going to find out what's going to go on, because otherwise, what makes sense for her character? They're just going to stop her now. How's Charles going to affect that, right? I mean, even this, whatever it is, let's just call it a weapons satellite on the moon that's gone rogue or something like that, which, by the way, is against the treaty of the space treaty, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. So that's the reason why these generals are all freaking out and so forth, because they did a bad thing and now they got caught. Somebody literally took a picture of it. I know we keep on going back to the picture, but that was like, just think if they made a TV show and that was the moment. Click. Like, you would love that. That'd be like the moment. It'd be like the comedic moment it would be. So that's where I think we're going for the next few chapters.
Oh my God, Derek. When you said that, the first thing in my head was like, take a picture and I can see him just running away from the crater with the Americans following him with a rolling pin. Stop. That's all I'm seeing in my head right now.
Join us next time as we review chapters 42 through 53 of The Shackleton Signal by Joshua Calvert. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share a review. We love to hear from you. Send us an email at yourbookmarksinfo@gmail.com. Join us again right here where you left off.